Dr. Vjosa Osmani Sadriu, the President of the Republic of Kosovo. Let's start, Your Excellency, if we may, with this extraordinary journey that you have made that I think serves as an inspiration for so many women, from refugee to the president. Can you tell us more about this journey, what you've learned along the way, what women around the world might learn from it too?
Well, thank you. First of all, such a great pleasure to be at the CGI and to join you all in what I believe is an extraordinary event that empowers people all around the globe, not just here in the United States, but certainly for so many nations beyond US borders. I think becoming a refugee is something that can happen to anyone. No one wants it, but each and every one of us can actually become a refugee because of so many inequalities around the world, and unfortunately the growing number of autocrats with imperialistic and hegemonic ambitions who try to destroy others just because they're different. My nation, my country has been through a number of horrendous wars, and what I often say is that in fact it's our children that are the very first generation in the history of our nation that are growing up without a war. The very first generation in our history that is living in peace. Over 2/3 of the people of Kosovo were forced to leave their homes during the war. Of course, my family included. We were forced to leave our home and we became first IDPs, internally displaced, and then we became refugees. And just growing up as a child of war and then as a very young woman becoming a refugee has taught me first and foremost the values of our hard-won freedoms. You never ever take freedom for granted. When I say freedom, I don't mean just some abstract notion that people read of from the books, just the right to breathe free, the right to exist, the right to live, the right to speak your language, the right to go to school, the right to work. And these were each and every fundamental human right and freedom were denied to the people of Kosovo for decades. That, of course, ended up with the genocidal war of Milosevic against our people. And when you become a refugee, you understand the value of all of these freedoms. You never take them for granted, and at the same time, you make sure that you give a helping hand to everyone, including those beyond your borders, whose rights are being violated if they need a helping hand in the future. So you want to give back. Secondly, becoming a refugee shapes you as a person, but also as a professional for the rest of your life. It inspires you, it inspires in you the need to serve your country, your people, but humanity at large as well. I know that we are a small country, but I strongly believe that our impact in the world should not be determined by our geographical size or location, but the story that we have to tell. And the story of Kosovo is one that showcases the power of partnerships, the power of alliances, and the power of democracy. It showcases that nothing can stand on the path of a people that wants to be free. Nothing. No matter the hurdles, no matter how hard the path, and no matter how long, you will always get there. Because nothing can really stop the will of a people to become free. So that really shapes you then as a politician, because you become so much more resilient.
Yes.
And at the same time, you are so much stronger to deal with thorns on the path. You are so much more dedicated also to helping others when they need support, no matter in which country they are situated. So for example, when President Biden asked for our help to receive Afghan evacuees, Kosovo was the very first country to say yes. From 15 minutes And after I received the request, I responded positively because we wanted to give back. We know what it means to not be able to live in your home, to be forced to flee, and at the same time to be stripped of your basic human rights. It's the same with all of the support that we're offering to Ukraine and practically refugees around the world, and making sure that we become the voice of the voiceless. We have been speaking internationally in every part of the world about the necessity to help the people who are oppressed, those that are undergoing conflicts and wars. So despite being a small country, again, I think it's so important to make our voice heard, not just in making sure that the story of Kosovo is heard and that the support for Kosovo continues, but also in becoming the voice of those whose rights are being denied at this point in time, because when we needed democracies around the world, their doors and their hearts were open to us. There were refugees coming from Kosovo here in the United States, all the way to Australia and New Zealand, all around the world. And because we found a helping hand, because there were voices who spoke for us at a time when we had no voice, today we are free, we're prosperous, we are the strongest democracy in our region, we are a beacon of hope when it comes to rule of law, protection of fundamental rights and freedoms, and an example, a testament to what democracies can achieve when they stand together for freedom and the values that have always created that strong bond together. So difficult times really shape you, but they also make you so much more resilient, but also open to helping others when they need that helping hand.
You've talked about how your experience as a refugee shaped you. I wonder how your experience as a woman has shaped you as well, in terms of what you see as ways to combat violence against women, to ensure the inclusion of women in the political processes.
You often hear that women bring a unique perspective to the table. I've seen that firsthand. You know, in Kosovo politics, and I would say that's the case in most political parties around the world, when you're very young and you're also women, and you're in a political party, they see you as if, you know, you're a UFO. They're like, oh, stay away. This is only for old men, dinosaurs, you know, politics are not for you. So it's been a long road, because I started really young, 1999, so it's been 25 years of political engagement and activism. And what has really kept me strong is the fact that as a woman, you always need to make sure that you deal with the most acute problems of the citizens, and that keeps you so close to them. I never needed an intermediator to speak to the people. I went from door to door, spoke to all the people of Kosovo, stayed really, really close to them. When you create that connection, which it's mostly women that do that kind of grassroots politics, when you create that strong connection, when you get to their heart, they really trust you. And of course, you have to stay really consistent in making sure that you do people-centered politics. And that's what most women in politics do, people-centered politics. They never, you know, leave their interests behind, and that has had a very positive effect. So, you know, we inherited a very patriarchal society for decades, and then in 2021, for the people of Kosovo to emancipate to the extent that they made a woman the most voted politician in the history of the country, that was quite transformational, because it shows the trust that they have in all the women, in fact, in Kosovo politics, and at the same time they believe that women in politics will deal with their daily problems and will, of course, do their best to solve them. They're not all solvable overnight, but do their best to solve them. Again, women in Kosovo has really shaped our history. They were at the forefront of our peaceful resistance initially. They participated, they fought alongside men in our liberation army, and then women led peace negotiations in Kosovo, and I'm the second woman president in only 16 years of independence. So women were because of, I would say, because of their people-centered policy. Even if you look at the statistics in our parliament, most issues that truly relate to, you know, rights of the children, issues like health and education, just everyday issues that truly matter to our citizens, the vast majority of them are initiated by our women parliamentarians. And we have a very strong women parliamentary caucus, which is cross-party, cross-ethnic, because women have shown that when it's about issues that truly matter to our national interest to begin with, and then to the interest of the people, they get together no matter the party line. They go across the line, they work together, no matter the party, no matter the ethnicity, and that, just forgetting about differences, it doesn't happen that often among men, which is so crucial, I think, to have as many women in decision-making positions, and which is why we've been working so hard and making Kosovo a leading example globally on the women, peace, and security agenda. Because the more women on peace negotiations, the quicker peace will come, and the more sustainable and long-term it will be. And also security institutions, so that we can make sure that they're not just in every profession, but by having them in the police force, in the security institutions, in the army, they take into account the interest of all. And I believe that, of course, we can see the results of the society as such. When women are included and they have a strong voice, societies prosper, countries thrive, and the example of Kosovo is one of those.